Alright, let's get started. Good morning, traders. This is Robert Kinman. This is my weekly outlook. The current date is October 22nd. It is currently 7:14 p.m. in Eastern Time. So I do two types of trading, I do two types of chart analysis when I trade. Many of y'all have probably seen the different types, especially if you follow me on Twitter. So I'm actually going to go over both types of how I do chart analysis this week. So the white charts here, I primarily use, I like to say it's like a Wykoff method, and it's only parts of Wykoff. And the way I look at Wykoff is I look for levels that are prior swing highs, prior swing lows, and support and resistance. And everyone takes in things differently when they learn something, and what made most sense to me was to draw your levels where you're looking for failures. And you'll see a lot of my lines will be drawn where I'm looking for the swings to actually break that level, fail, and then reverse. And to me, that is a better signal, because it tells me that a pattern, a support and resistance level, something didn't hold, it failed, and that allows that other traders could be trapped on that other side. So that creates a trading opportunity, and I would much rather be against the grain, because I believe there is more reward off that. So that's why you see a lot of my levels break. You see me use the phrase, this was a false break. Rather, it is a true false break. To me, it just means it went through the level, reversed, and that is something for me. It's more of a trigger for me to say, hey, I may have a trading opportunity. Okay, let's start off with the US dollar currency index, the Dixie. Been watching this level for some time, this high right here. What you see here on the chart is a 200-week moving average. This moving average is going to stay on the chart all the way through the majors. When it gets to the daily, it's going to be a 200-day moving average, and when I get down to the 4-hour, it's just a 200-period moving average. All right. Well, as of right now, the price is trapped just below the 200 weekly moving average. We've been watching this high right here. Pair came down, made a false break, created a trading opportunity. Price did pull back up, continued higher. We've revisited this level. Came down, did not hold, came back up, and this is where I've been calling the dollar long, as long as it stays above this level. Let's go ahead and move down to the 4-hour chart. All right. So you can see this is where we carved that area out. What I'm looking at right now is we have this line right here. You can see how price has come up, failed, come back down. Now price is back above. If price comes back below, fails this level again at the 93.75 level, I'll be looking for the pair to head lower. If not, another level to look at is right here at the 93. We'll just call it on about 93.95. Just kind of keep an eye on that level. Price could move up higher, turn around, come down, or it could do the opposite. It could finally break much higher and just keep on continuing. But as of right now, just looking for an entry that reaches one of these levels. If it creates a sort of a false break scenario, I'll be looking to take advantage of that trade going in the other direction. And when it comes to the US currency index, I usually play this following with the euro dollar. Here's the euro dollar. As you can see, there is some symmetry between the two charts. Right now, everyone's looking at a major head and shoulders formation. That looks like it could be starting to work out. I'm always somewhat biased. I'd like to say you want to trade both sides to the story. Honestly, you never know if it's going to keep going or if it's going to go up. So be ready, make a plan. Let's look at it from the weekly. Okay, so from the weekly we have this high. That's our major area that we need to look at. We also have this one here to give us somewhat of a range, coming back down to the 4 hour. We're going to be keeping an eye on this level here. We are currently below the 240 period moving average, and it has rejected it twice. So this could give us what we need for the pair to head much lower. As of right now, just keep an eye at the current levels here. And let's see. Actually, we got sort of a zone here. So we're going into some resistance. Look for the pair to be fighting its way through. Once it breaks this lower half down here, this is the neckline for the head and shoulders. Somewhere right around this range. If that starts to fail, be looking for the pair to head much lower. And then on the other hand, look for the pattern to fail. If this pattern does fail, the euro dollar could technically break its pattern and just keep heading higher. Going into the dollar CAD, I had some analysis on here, especially if you follow my Twitter feed. This was a level of current resistance. We were looking at this high area right here as a possible area for price to hit resistance. Price is heading up higher right now. I am looking for that area to act as resistance. So I'm looking for resistance right here around the 27.57, 27.60 range. All the way up here to the 27. What is that? Let's call it 2800. And this top area resistance is coming from this level right here, which has acted support and resistance a few times all the way. So long term, I am bearish the pair, but as of right now, the pair is heading higher, and we're above the 200-point period moving average. I'm just currently looking for any form of sell signal right here. Kind of seems like the pair is on its way. Also keep an eye on this high right here. If price tucks itself back down and curves itself back up, it could give you a trading opportunity for the pair to head longer. If the pair does all of a sudden drop and head lower, then I will be looking for resistance right here at the 24.15 level. Dollar yen. I've been calling this range for a long time. Pair did start heading lower on us. I was either trading up here or I was going to be trading down here at the bottom of this range. Price is currently moving itself up to the top of the range. I'll be looking at how the market reacts, and if we get a reaction lower here, I'll be placing my trades to go short. And as we head towards the 200 period moving average, I will more than likely scale out some of my position and then to see if we can let it ride down here to the lower level, as price has a tendency, well, let me rephrase this. Price has come down here to the bottom of range and actually touched just a few times after coming up. However, somewhere between this level here, price has reached a lot more often, and this would be a good area to be looking for profits if this range was to continue. Alright, Aussie dollar. Here is the Aussie dollar. We've been eyeing this top right here. Price has come down, created its breaks, has headed higher. Price has been approaching the 200-point moving average, came up to the mid-channel and has been rejected once, came back, came close, is heading lower again. I'm currently keeping an eye on this level right here, which has kind of created multiple little areas of reaction. Looking for price to come down, and if we end up having a reaction to pop back up, could give us a trading opportunity to trade the pair a little bit higher. There is somewhat of a channel forming right now that you can keep an eye on. There's the high. There we go. There's our channel right here. You can look for this area to be support. If you end up getting a 4-hour close below this, look for the pair to start heading lower. There is going to be a little bit of resistance right now. You know, right now it just has to fight to get through a few things. If we end up breaking through this low right here, the pair is easily going to be able to move lower. New Zealand dollar. New Zealand dollar has been heading down this channel right here. Price came back, hit the mid channel, which was also the 200 period moving average. Has started heading lower. Let's see here from a higher time frame perspective. Looks like we have this level right here. Again, I'm just looking for an area where it created a little false break, started heading back up. If we actually brought this to the right, you can see where it's kind of happened on both sides, so it is a good level. Look for price to head back to this level, and then look for a reaction coming back to the 4-hour. You can see price is heading down. It has kind of created a smaller internal channel, it looks. I'm only going to draw the top of it right here. You know what, I'll go ahead and do the full channel. If you see this on a 1-hour time frame, this is what it looks like. If you start to see the top of this channel break, look for a retest for the top of this channel here. Pound dollar. Pound dollar's kind of been in a rough channel. Let's start on the weekly. See here, pound dollar's been kind of in a rough channel. Let me get rid of this box here. We've had these highs here, and then right here. This low area right here. Price did come up, sort of created that false break that I like to look for. Price has since then headed lower. We've had lines on these two highs right here to see how price reacted around them in my past analysis. Coming to the 4-hour chart. Okay. Price has come back up, has created the breaks, head down. As of right now, price is currently kind of trapped in that channel. We are still creating higher lows. Look for the pair to keep heading higher. I am somewhat bearish the pound dollar. Look for any false breaks up here in this level above. Look for price to come out, touch the 200 period moving average, create a false break, and possibly head lower. And vice versa, if price keeps heading up, look for the break to head higher, price to come back down, and then for the move to head higher. Just because I have a bias, I can't rule out the fact that the pair could continue higher, and you have to be ready to trade both sides, because if you create too strong of a bias, you're going to miss trading opportunities. Euro pound. Euro pound has been kind of a fun pair lately. Let's go to the weekly. All right. Very quickly, we just draw on some levels because I haven't done too much analysis with the euro pound until recently. And right here. So these are just some quick levels that we can look at that are in the range. Is a weekly chart, so this could take some time to get to. So let's drop down to the 4-hour. So in the 4-hour chart, looks like price is heading back to the 200 period moving average. This high right here has been acting sort of a swing point. Also this top right here. Alright, now since we have created this one, we'll put this right here. Okay, so price is heading lower. Look for some resistance right here on the 200 period moving average. I'm going to be looking for opportunities to buy around this level here. If price does just keep on dropping and gets underneath here, I'll be looking for price to swing back up. Play around in this level right here, and based on price action, I could place a sell order to head down here to the bottom to this resistance level. This support level right here. Alright, now I promised I was going to go through two types of technical analysis that I do. I'm going to move on to pivot points, which I love trading pivot points. For pivot points, I'm going to go into my TradeStation platform. I got it logged into the simulator account, and I just happen to like the pivots that are on this platform. Did not come with the platform. It is a indicator that I had to get. It just I really like the way it plots the levels, and it just adds a little bit of clarity for me, so I do like to use it for my pivot points. Euro dollar, bring that up. The current weekly pivot for the euro dollar is above. When trading this pair, I tend not to use the weeklies very much, as I like to be somewhat of a longer term trader, but I do use them for a bias. And right now the euro dollar is below the weekly pivot, and that tells me for the current week we currently have a bearish bias for the pair. If price does close above, my bias will switch to a bullish bias. We currently have the quarterly pivot down here at the 16.99 level. This level is going to be an area of support for me to look at all the way down here to the monthly S1 level. Just below that we do have a yearly level, which is going to be a much stronger level of support. But don't see price getting that low that fast this week. Can it happen? Yes. Here is that Wykoff line right here, which does line up with the weekly S1. So I'm definitely going to be looking for support in this level right here. Look for support there. Vice versa, 200-point moving average is above. It is holding. Price has once come up, tested the monthly pivot. Rectangle. Which is going to give us an area of resistance right here. So look for trading opportunities between these two levels for this current week. But as of right now, we have a bearish bias with the pair, as it's below the weekly pivot point, and also because it's below the 200-point moving average. And if I were looking to sell the pair, it would be right here at the weekly pivot to get behind a trade to head lower. But to do this, I would look at it on a lower time frame to see what that reaction is at the 1787-ish level. These aren't perfect, and one reason is Forex has about 8 data providers, so not one is going to be perfect, especially with the FX market. Okay, moving over to the Aussie dollar. Australian dollar is below the 200 pairing moving average on the 4-hour. Price is heading lower, coming back down here to the quarterly pivot. I will be looking for a reaction right here at the quarterly pivot at the 77.94 level. When I say reaction, I'm just looking for price to come down, hold, looking for like the bullish engulfing pattern and whatnot. And if it's a strong enough reaction, I'll place a buy order and put my stops behind it. Also for a resistance level, it's going to be this level here. And for my weeklies, which I do not see right now, let me see if we can put that on right here. Okay, so we are below the weekly, so we do have a bearish bias. If I were to trade this lower right now, it would be looking for an entry right here at the weekly pivot, somewhere around the 78.36 level if I wanted to day trade this lower. But as of right now, the pair is already on its way, and the only place I can really see getting in is looking to see how price reacts down here at this lower level. Go and put a rectangle on it, looking at this area as the first level of support for this pair. Alright, dollar CAD. Dollar CAD is above the 200 period moving average. Price is above the weekly pivot, so we have a bullish bias while above. The only time you're going to see me somewhat change my bias is when it hits a significant level and you see a reaction happen, and I will trade into the opposite direction of the bias, going back towards the weekly pivot. And if I'm heading towards the 200 period moving average, I'll actually scale my positions out at the different pivots for the weekly until we do reach this moving average down here, since it is somewhat counter trend. Pairs almost to the monthly R1 level. This is my first level of resistance. We have a much stronger pocket of resistance right here at the top. I will be looking for this week. This is our first zone of resistance to be looking for a trade if I were to trade any pullbacks back towards the 200 period moving average. And for below, it's currently going to be down here at the 2388 level. That is a long ways down. Definitely be looking for resistance up here, and be looking for also trading opportunities around the weekly pivot at the 2567.68 level. See how price reacts for a current buy. What you also see in this level is the prior monthly pivot. Let's see, where's a horizontal line? Current monthly pivot, the prior monthly pivot, which is right here, and that is at the 2558.60 level. Price can pull back, and this could be a level of support, so look for support right here if we do get a pullback. Trade the pair higher. If the price does break lower, look for the pair to do a pullback in this zone and trade the pair lower. Alright. Going into dollar yen. Dollar yen has been heading higher, heading towards that level of top of that range. We are currently above the weekly pivot. I'm currently looking for resistance to happen at this level right here. That is between the monthly R1 at the 1470 level, coming up here to the 14 period 81 level. I'll be looking for opportunities to possibly get a little bit short the pair based on how price reacts and how price reacts at the top of the range. We do currently have a gap on this chart. If this is a true gap, we could see price come up, touch the weekly R1, or up here at the monthly, come back down, fill that gap, or touch the weekly R1, come down, fill the gap, and then head higher. Pound dollar. Pound dollar is below the 200 period moving average. Price has come up and is currently testing the weekly pivot. I have a bearish bias right now as long as price remains below the weekly pivot. Current support and resistance. Support's going to be down here at this this yearly and Fibonacci pivot. I'll go ahead and draw it up to the weekly S1. This will be our current zone for support. For resistance, we're going to look all the way up here to this monthly pivot. We've got the 200 period moving average and the quarterly pivot. Those are my two trading zones. Currently at the weekly pivot. Keep an eye on it. Maybe on a 1 hour chart, if it starts giving you some strong bear signals, go ahead. Might be a good trade for you to go ahead and take it down here to support. It's just these are my two areas. I'm more of a longer term trader, and I'm currently really not looking at this level personally. You can also, let me get a drawing here. Trend line, that'll work. This prior monthly support level has also acted as support and resistance. rectangle. Okay. So this is definitely an area to look at for this week. And dollar Swiss. Such a love-hate relationship with the dollar Swiss. Okay, price is still heading higher based off the 200-point moving average. Price is above the weekly pivot. Price is headed higher. It's above the monthly resistance level. It's approaching the weekly R1. We currently have a support level at the monthly pivot all the way down to the weekly. Looks like we have somewhat of a gap right here as well. Look for price to come up either to the R1 level, come back down, fill that gap, find support in this level, and continually head higher. We can also look for resistance. Stronger resistance up here. It's starting at the 99.28 level, going up to the 99.42 level, heading all the way up to this yearly pivot up here, and we also have a yearly Fibonacci pivot level. But that's some ways away. We may not see that this week if the price continually heads higher. If this level does break down, do look for support. In this region right here, this is at the 97.67 level all the way down to the 97.59 level. And just to go over, I had a great trade this week. If you followed me on Twitter, which is at Trade the Level, I kept mentioning that price kept testing this weekly pivot down here, and I had stops below the weekly DeMark pivots that are down here that are not currently on my chart right now, and it was testing my luck. Price did stabilize, and I am currently made a nice little profit off of that trade. I have since closed out of that trade as my targets were right here around the quarterly level, and now I'm just looking for another trading opportunity. And yeah, that's just proof that pivots do work. Alright, hope y'all enjoyed the different types of technical analysis. You know, I do this more for me because I just love talking about it, and there's little things that I hope that someone learned off of how I view charts. And everyone does their charts a little bit differently, and I hope you find something that you can utilize in yours and possibly make yours better. I hope everyone has a good trading week. This is Robert Kinman, and take care.